So joining me now is Natalie Hockaday. Natalie is our Solutions Journalism Fellow, as well as a core member of Report for America. And she is working with the Washington Informer to enhance our coverage on food insecurity in the DC area and looking for solutions to end it. Hi, Natalie. How are you? I need you to unmute yourself so I can hear you.
Sorry.
There you are.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. So at this point, I'm going to turn the show over to you, and it's in your hands.
All right, thank you. Hi, like Ms. Rolark Barnes said, I am the fellow for Solutions Journalism covering food insecurity, specifically in Wards 7 and 8, but also throughout the rest of the DC community. And so I have brought along some guests who are involved in the fight to help solve this issue. So I have Dr. Beverly Wheeler and Samanth here from DC Hunger Solutions. And I also have Samanth the Pounder from Arcadia's Mobile Market. Hi, ladies. How are you guys doing today?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Yes, no problem. So first, introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit about your organizations.
Samantha, you want to go first?
Sure, thank you. So I am relatively new at Arcadia Center for Sustainable Food and Agriculture. We're a nonprofit. We have a farm in Alexandria, Virginia, where it's actually a full production farm where we grow veggies that we sell at market. We have a few different programs, a veterans farm program where we teach veterans how to farm, a fellowship program where they can actually use like an incubator where they can use space from us to grow their own goods. Once they graduate from that program, they're eligible for low interest loans to actually purchase their own farmland. We have a farm to school program where we bring school children to do tours of the farm and learn about and fall in love with fresh, healthy produce. And I run the mobile market program, which is a mobile market, in other words, a farmer's market on wheels. And we pop up in mostly low-income neighborhoods in DC, mostly wards 7 and 8, but in a little bit, I'll tell a little bit more about our different locations. And yeah, we're just really happy to speak about what we're doing and be here today.
Great, thank you.
So I'm Beverly Wheeler, Director of DC Hunger Solutions. Our tagline is ending hunger in the nation's capital. We are an advocacy, policy, and direct service nonprofit, and we're part of the Food Research and Action Center, which is a national program. We work to make sure that everyone who is qualified to be on a federal nutrition program in the city actually can get on those federal nutrition programs. We believe that if you don't have to worry about where your next meal is coming from, then you can use your resources to get housing, to do education, to find employment, and have a much better life, including healthcare. So we do a lot with SNAP. Often people call it food stamps. We also work around WIC, the program for prenatal women with children up to the age of 5. We want to make sure they're on there. And we particularly work well with our seniors. So we do a lot around policy and programming. We work with the district government and a lot of DC agencies.
Okay. So how do y'all's organizations best serve the DC community? Because food insecurity it's been a concern in DC for quite some time. So what factors do you think contribute to this in the city? And what are some solutions to it?
If I may, I think at its very most basic level, just not having access to healthy food in your neighborhood is a huge issue still for the district today. One of the metrics that we look at when choosing to go into a neighborhood are specifically neighborhoods that do not have a grocery store within 1 mile, and also compounded by the fact that often these neighborhoods have low car ownership. So that is one of the metrics that we look at for when we go into neighborhoods. Another thing, just to piggyback on Beverly's comment about the different benefits available to DC residents, we actually accept SNAP, WIC, senior FMNP, and we double all of those benefit dollars. So for every, say, $5 you spend in WIC, you would receive $10 worth of produce from our markets.
So one of the things we try to do is make sure people understand what food insecurity, it's thrown around a lot, but what it means is when you do not have nutritional adequate food available to you, when you just don't know when your next meal is coming from. DC, 1 in 10 adults in DC faces some form of food insecurity. And unfortunately, we are #1 in the nation for senior food insecurity, where 14.3% of our seniors don't know where their next meal is coming from. So for us, that's really critically important. We put up a brand new toolkit, having worked with a number of DC agencies on our website. So make sure you go there, that explain all of the federal nutrition programs and show you how to get on those programs. And you can also always call us and we will help you do that. During the pandemic, was particularly important. SNAP was really critical to individuals being able to have food, as well as school meals. When the schools closed, people don't understand that many of our children get school breakfast, school lunch, after school meals, and summer meals. And so we were able to help families get on pandemic, what we call pandemic EBT, where they got the money that they would have gotten for school meals were given to parents so that they could buy food. But those are some of the things that we all get to understand and make sure that our neighbors know. When we find someone who doesn't have food, we love the Arcadia Mobile Market. I'm a big Arcadia fan anyway, but we want to make sure that people know that you can get food. We at DC Hunger Solutions, we believe that access to healthy, affordable food is a basic human right. And for Ward 7 and 8, it is a racial equity and health issue. We do every 4 or 5 years, we do a grocery store report, and our latest grocery store report came out. And Ward 8 continues to have 1 grocery store for 80,000 people. And Ward 7 has 2 grocery stores, where in other wards of the city, they have 14 grocery stores. And as Samantha said, many of the residents in Ward 7 and 8 don't have access to a grocery store, and that is detrimental to your health and well-being.
Okay. And so, yeah, all these factors contribute to the interconnection of the experience that communities of color experience in DC. So you guys mentioned some of your, what you guys do and some solutions to it. So what are some upcoming projects that the community can look out for from DC Hunger Solutions and also from Arcadia?
Well, I want to make sure Arcadia gets in their mobile markets, because those are critical to summer feeding. All of our students get to do summer meals. We need to make sure that they're a part of that. We want to make sure parents are doing pandemic EBT. And we'll be out at a lot of the community programs that are now finally opening up after pandemic to actually sign people up for SNAP and WIC, as well as the other programs.
I'm really happy to hear that, and maybe we can exchange some information, because we do have customers coming to market looking for how to enroll in the different programs. And so that would be really helpful, I think, for our customers to be able to disseminate that information. I did want to just quickly mention where our market is located this season. We have 8 locations in the district. Those are going to be in Mayfair, Bellevue, Oxon Run, Edgewood, Deanwood, Fort DuPont, Anacostia, and Congress Heights. And if you can see below on the screen there, if you go to arcadiafood.org and then click on mobile market, you'll be able to see a Google Calendar of when we'll be at each of the locations, as well as the address for those locations. You can also follow us on Instagram. That's a great way to see our stories, where we post daily where we'll be and what new crops we'll have at market. So today, we'll actually have watermelons and cantaloupes, which is really exciting. And yeah,
Okay. So also, Samantha, tell me a little bit about the mobile market program and something you've recently implemented to make things easier for WIC moms.
Absolutely. So I had an experience where I became a first-time mother on March 11th of 2020, the day before everything shut down in the city. And subsequently, both my husband and I were laid off. And so I actually enrolled in the WIC program. And while I am grateful that I was accepted into the program, I actually never used any of the benefits because I didn't feel confident that going into a farmer's market, they would know how to receive them. I had anxieties around that. It was very complicated for me to try to figure out. And, you know, thankfully, I was privileged enough to have other sources of funds that I could use for food. So it wasn't the be all end all for me. But once I took this job with Arcadia, it really inspired me to kind of dig a little bit into the program and see how we could make things easier for moms, with moms. And so we actually just released a pre-order link where folks can go on our website. They just click a link. We also tweet it out. We also post it on our Instagram and on our Facebook, where WIC moms can click on it, and everything that they see on there will be eligible for their WIC benefits. So they don't have to figure out, I can have this, I can't have that. And the prices are already calculated to do our match. So for the $5 or let's say $9 benefit they use, they would get $18 worth of produce. All they do is they fill out the form, they select which market they want to pick it up at. And when they come to market, all they do is they can cut the line, go straight to the cashier, present their WIC benefit. They can also use any add-on things if they want to use SNAP on top of that, or cash or debit on top of their WIC benefits. They're welcome to do so. And our cashiers are trained, know how to quickly process the payment and give them their box of food, and off they go. So they have more time to spend with their families.
All right. Thank you. And thank you, ladies, for coming on the show. And we look forward to seeing the rest of the good work you do in the community.
Thank you so much.
I thought I would jump on as well. Thank you, Natalie. It's a great interview. And I learned a whole lot. And there's nothing like, you know, actually having, proving how well a program works by being a part of that program, Samantha. So, I mean, you are an expert witness of the benefits of the program, which is great. And that was a very interesting statistic that you mentioned, Beverly, about seniors in DC being the most food insecure in the nation. That, I mean, how can that happen in the nation's capital?
And it's crazy because they're our seniors are very powerful, and they work with us a long time. So we're working on legislation, no senior hungry legislation, to make sure that we address that issue.
Well, we will certainly be following that and making sure that, you know, the senior community and the council hears, you know, that the voices of the seniors as it relates to that. So before you jumped off, I just wanted to say thank you as well for being with us, and looking forward always to having you back on. And great job, Natalie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you.
Okie doke.